If you were trapped in poverty, what would you give for a way out? How many of you have sold your kidneys? Can you put your hands up? Or if your life depended on a transplant, what price would you be willing to pay? In Kenya, a black market for human organs is answering both these questions.
If you want to be transplanted, come to Kenya.
The buyers, wealthy foreigners who travel here from across the world.
We're staying in a wonderful hotel here in Eldoret.
It's professional, lucrative, and openly advertised.
Bienvenue chez Medlead, leader des transplantations rénales rapides.
But this illegal industry preys on the poor. I'm here to investigate transplant tourism and the people behind it. People are coming from all over the world to have a kidney transplant in your hospital. Are you saying they are not coming for the black market?
It's a very, very serious subject. The other day, Channel 4 in the UK done a piece on how a lot of Kenyans in obviously poor parts of Kenya have sold their kidneys or their kidney, because obviously we know that we can't live without at least one. That this most people have been paid something like £1,800 equivalent to, and they are sold for 18,000. We've got
Wasn't it more than that?
18,000, 80,000. But they give 1,800 to the participants,
The donor,
and the donors. But it also means that there is people who from other countries that are also selling theirs. We found out
after the fact, but just sticking on that for a second, because the Kenyan ones, it's an Indian hospital, Indian owned hospital that is basically doing these organ donations, and they're advertising it for like European people to come over, and they'll basically find them a donor, and they're saying, oh, it has to, like the law is that it has to be an altruistic donor, basically, so you can't be doing it for money. But one of the nurses went undercover or whistleblower and said that it is, they know that these people are being paid. Do you know what I mean? Like the doctors know, everybody knows. Do you know what I mean? Like, because
they're all held in one room.
They don't speak the same language for a start. Do you know what I mean? So it's clearly not their friend. Do you know what I mean? They're from totally different backgrounds. These people were from the people that are getting the donation are from really rich backgrounds, and then the ones that are doing the donating are from very poor backgrounds, and then all of the donors are kept together on a separate ward, like away from everybody else. So it's you know, the best kept secret in the hospital basically is that these people are being paid for their thingies, and like as my mum said, it's a pittance that they're getting paid. They don't realise how much these people are actually paying for their kidney. They'll be paying 80,000 and they'll get, like, as I said, just over £1,000. They said most of them are buying a motorbike just to be able to use the motorbike to work.
To do a job.
And then the money's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like, once they've paid off a few debts for their family, then the money's gone. So it's instant regret for them. Do you know what I mean? And how many did they show? They showed like about at least 10.
There was about at least 10. We'll put the link up from the Channel 4 expose. But we all know that Channel 4 is only going to be able to touch on certain aspects of the whole thing, because like researching it, it's like it's really scary, you know what I mean? 21-year-old was taken off a street in Lagos and brought to England under the pretext that she was willing to have a kidney transplant in London. And it was only when the parents of her found out that it was reported, you know, that these people had actually brought her over, and she sort of ran away, and told them that she didn't know these people. She was taken off a street in Lagos. Maybe because they found out that she is compatible with somebody that they need to give a kidney in London to. And we're not saying that it's even somebody from London. It could be that they brought her to London to get the operation done because they know probably whatever country they're from will not do it. You know what I mean? They will probably look into it more extensively than less extensively in England than they will do in their own countries or the country of whoever the patient is from.
It's the same, isn't it? Yeah, they don't know that there's no way of tracing it back then. So either way, like they can use the poor people. They wouldn't be doing this to like richer people because they know they'd go to the authorities. Like there's usually a thing, especially if they've been bought from another country. They'll probably take their passports off them, or they'll say, you know, we'll get you some citizenship or whatever. Like they'll hang something over their head, like a favour for a favour type thing. And then these people will feel like, well, they can't go to the authorities because they're doing something wrong also. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that kind of sprang to mind with that. But didn't they say they're doing it in Iran as well?
But they says that there's Nepal has actually got a village that they call the Kidney Valley. They actually call it the Kidney Valley because someone from every household has sold an organ. Really? Do you know what I mean? Really? And as I says, if that means that somebody's willing to sell it, there's also people who are being taken off the street because there is so many disappearance in America, probably in England too. It's probably just not researched enough, and the figures are not as apparent. But in America, children go missing all the time. People come off the street. There was one that you was talking about recently in Jamaica that we don't know if it was the case, that, you know, they probably want to take a body part off her, and they've realised because when you go to hospital, we can't say that every doctor is a great doctor, moral doctor. Do you know what I mean? He could clock that you've got the blood group of somebody that needs a body part, and suddenly you've gone missing. So that means that people like what's the richest? One of the richest men. One of the richest men in the world. He had 3 heart transplants before he died, and he died in old age. Everybody knows that old people don't get more than one heart.
Well, even that Philip,
what's his name?
the Queen's husband, Philip, he died
even
a couple of days after his heart transplant. It's like, why the hell? Like, you know what I mean? There's certain things put in place for a reason, and this is the thing with the expose about the Kenyan thing, is these are all old white people as well, and that's what the nurse said. Like, old people don't qualify usually for
operation, for
donations, so therefore they know that they're having to buy these things. Do you know what I mean? Because they're low down on the donor list. Do you know what I mean? And plus you see them on the website giving their testimonial. Thank you for this, thank you for that, because they know that they were on death's door. And it's just sold as like this package holiday basically. Like you can come, sort of like plastic surgery, come sit in the sun, blah blah blah, have your operation, and then you know
go away,
and have your relax
happy,
and recoup, and then go back home like. But meanwhile, on the opposite end of the scale, these people are living in absolute misery. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going back to nothing. They've been paid a pittance, and we all know like it's always the donor that it's harder on. Like these donations
get the infections
are always much more difficult for the donor to recover from than the person receiving the kidney. So yeah, it was.
There's Egypt. There's so many different countries that it's happening to, but the common factor is that it is the poorer people in those countries that are being taken advantage of. And as I says, it's like when you have a child go missing, is it because you know they've just been killed or bludgeoned or you know abused, or is it that somebody has took them off the streets to actually steal or take one of their parts because they know that in a lot of circumstances there is that thing that black people are not as quick to give a kidney, to give anything, you know what I mean?
Well, there's also the thing of sorry to interrupt. There's also the thing of they know that most black people are universal donors. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So our stuff is compatible. Like if it's an O group, then you're compatible with most things. So if you've lived a healthy life, and that's why it's probably more so young people, because then they know they haven't smoked, they haven't drank, like their organs aren't compromised. So they will be more likely to be a thingy donor. And it just put me in the mind of that Henrietta Lacks. How they stole her DNA in order to cure cancer and things like that. There's known documented thingy of people, them taking black people's skin. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a thing like doctors would take black people's skin in order to thingy for the melanin. Yeah, like so this is real stuff. Like it might sound like it's out of some kind of crime thriller or a novel. But you know what did they say? The truth is freaking stranger than fiction sometimes, and that was definitely the case with this.
And we've got to remember, like the Kendrick Johnson
case
that was about 10, 11 years ago, whereby he was found in a gym, supposedly because he'd been attacked by probably one of his own peers and classmates, and they must have had a fight and something like that. But when his parents done an autopsy of their own, exhumed the body and done an autopsy of their own, his coffin and his body, was full of newspaper. There was no internal organs, and that has never been sorted out. That has never been said, well, this happened or that happened. So it does make you wonder, like, why is he found in a gym? Why is he found in a rolled up piece of carpet?
That they know he wouldn't have been able to get in. His shoes was off and on top of it. So it's like they tried to say it was suicide in the beginning. It's clearly not suicide because you can't kill yourself and roll yourself up in a gym mat and then, have the thing pushed up against the wall. Like, none of it made sense, hence the reason why the family pushed for the exhumation and pushed for the autopsy to be done. But again, like we were saying, a lot of people can't afford that. This isn't something that's a given in America. So, and what good did it get them? Like, still nobody was prosecuted. No, it's still a mystery to this day. Like, but it does make you wonder, like, did somebody thingy, you know what I mean? Try and take his organs for organ donation or like something else nefarious to do with it. Like, you just don't know. You really don't.
Or did it start with a killing and somebody realised, you know what, we could take everything out of his body and their parents don't. And is that happening as a given? Because like, how many of us would actually think, you know what, I'm going to exhume my my person, my family member, just to see that everything was intact when they went in, even if it had happened in an accident, or they were killed or something like that. Are they actually taking the body parts out before they bury you? It does make you wonder. Really does make you wonder.
Yeah. And obviously we're talking about like kidney and things like that, but there is the
but
thing
there's
of,
eyes,
would there be like, people just being
liver,
unalived for their heart, or that like things that we know you wouldn't be able to survive.
that was it.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
It's only because he's rich enough, that he can actually.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
buy himself a few
these
hearts.
people that go missing. Is it because they've just outrightly been killed for their life? For a heart, or as you said, like eyes, or whatever the case may be. We saw that girl in South Africa recently. The mum was just convicted of selling her daughter for £800. Like, why are you doing that in the first place? But who is buying that child?
Who is buying that child?
Do you know what I mean? Like, we still don't know. They don't know where this child is. And it put me in the mind of that also. Like, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but when you see these things happening, it makes you wonder. Like, it's not always like, my mind usually would go to like abuse, like sexual abuse, or people want to do terrible things to children, unfortunately. But it also, when I saw this, it was like, oh my God, could it be like an organ donation thing as well? Like they're taking children in order to help their own children, because obviously certain organs, adult organs, are hard. You wouldn't be able to input into a child.
You can.
You? Oh, you can. It made me think whether they need like organ specific for children. Do you know what I mean? So if somebody's got a sick child and you've got enough money, there's certain things you just can't buy. If it's just waiting on a list, you can't buy your way to the top of the list. But what you could do is buy, somebody to be a donor. And
I think
there's always some sick people out there that would sell their children to do that.
Don't you remember that film about My Sister's Keeper? I think it was called.
Yeah, where they had a child.
She was born. She was born for that. But
people do.
Life is as much as life does imitate art. And is there children more than a film that is being born for body parts for their sister, brother, or whatever? I mean, like, that was highlighting the fact that she had to go to court to actually stop them from taking anything else out of her. But it must be something that is probably done. Do you know, as I say, it's like, you don't get these sorts of ideas unless you probably even hear about it yourself. That somebody would actually do that, because, they think they're doing it for a good reason. And no, it's not. It's not, that has got to be the most unbelievable thing, to actually pay somebody to take out a kidney. That is so
it's like, when
serious.
it's your time, man. Like, obviously thinking you go on the waiting list and you hope for the best. But,
and you do hope that somebody
if
unfortunately passes away.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be then, these people can, but that's what I find just so sickening, literally. And there will always be somebody poor enough to take the bait, and that's what's so bad about it, is you're preying on the most vulnerable when you already have everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, already
if you've got enough to pay 80,000,
to give to a hospital to find you a kidney, then you're living good. You've had your time. Like, let these people just fucking live. They could have donated that money to these people,
to a charity, a kidney charity, a charity that could
help other people.
To help other people. Your time is definitely. I mean, we've got 10% of organ transplants globally are done on the black market. 10% is a lot. You know what I mean? 10% is a lot, because those are only people that you found out that they did it. You know, that can't be like, oh yeah, I did it, and me, and me. You know, that is just a figure that you've averaged out. You've averaged it out. What if it was turned around and it was 90% of donors was bought on the black market? Would that change things? Would that make you feel more moralistic? You know, it does. It is wicked.
The people that are doing it don't care. Literally, like to me and you, yeah, that sounds horrendous. But
a person that would give
don't care.
Would take 1,800 for their kidney is a person that you should give the 80,000 to, because that is a very drastic thing to do to keep your family fed and, you know, fed and alive. You could give 80,000 to the whole village in Nepal that they can live and be happy. You know, and you're one amongst many, instead of being, you know, like the only person that died in this situation. You were the only person that lived.
Sick.
It really is a sickening thought.
So yeah, I would say we'll put the link to the actual expose in the description. Just take a watch. Obviously we've delved into it, but I would say just take a watch as well. Because yeah, it's sickening. As I said, I can't even think of another word. It's absolutely sickening.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe. We'll be back.